This is Resnover, CEO of Fuzionz Magazine, and today is January the 5th, 2014, the beginning of a new year, and we're out here in beautiful Long Beach, California with Mr. John Resnover, and he is the CEO and founder of the Hapz magazine. Hey John, just kind of tell us a little bit about the Hapz magazine. Who are you? Who is the Hapz?
So basically, I'd like to thank you, Resnover Mackenzie, and Fuzionz Magazine for coming out to California and bringing in the new year. And I would like to expand upon what the Hapz is really all about. You know, it's something that I started back in 2003, basically, upon coming out here to California. And it was basically shed some light on some of the people in my area that I knew that was off into the arts or whatnot, specifically rapping, you know, which is something that I've done personally since 1979. The first time I heard Sugar Hill Gang, that's when I really went at it with the pen, and probably took me about 2 years before I started putting together something that made any kind of sense. But it's been a love of mine, and it just kind of transformed over the years into the magazine aspect of it. You know, I went from producing beats, crafting rhymes, and rapping and whatnot to getting off into the journalistic side of things. And it's been an odyssey. It's been a real travel for me. It's been an eye-opening experience. And what I started the magazine for, like I said, was to basically shed some light on some of the local artists in my area that I felt that wasn't getting attention and whatnot. And I felt that it was my obligation to go ahead and push hard, you know, in order to give them that shine. But as I got further and further off into the magazine, you know, it kind of expanded, and I started interviewing people outside of rap per se, you know, activists, artists, elders within the community or whatnot, and just getting their take on some of the content that rappers touch upon that people view as being controversial. You know, and just basically just getting an overall perspective of what's going on out here in our society, you know, and the black community in particular, because we are in dire straits, you know, as far as I can see it, you know, and whether that be out here in California, Indiana, you know, or even Atlanta, which I spent a little time down there, and I'm noticing that it's a pattern that is really not good, you know. I mean, there is good, but, you know, we try to point out some of the bad points in hopes that we can come together and make it better, you know, and I think that it's going to take a collective effort on all of our parts in coming together to make that possible.
Okay. Well, John, can you just tell us, where do you see the Hapz maybe in the next couple of years?
Well, hopefully, you know, my whole goal now and in the future is when I interview people, you know, I'd like to make books out of these interviews. That's my real goal, you know. And I think that maybe I've conducted maybe over 20 so far. And maybe out of those 20, I can see 5 right now that can be converted into full-length books. And I kind of want to start something in that area. You know, I want people to look at it as being something more than a periodical. I want them to look at something like this as a timepiece. You know, like a piece of a time capsule that touches upon a vast area of what's going on out here in society, and just looking at it from one person's viewpoint, you know, because we all have a different perspective on what's happening out here. And no one is an island in my mind. I think that everyone, you know, comes together and paint a vast visual of what's going on out here. You know, like my mother once reminded me, if it was solely about what I thought, then God would have put me on a planet by myself where I would be the only inhabitant. But since he didn't, and I was put on the earth with billions of other people, then I think that a vast array of different perspectives is what's going to ultimately get us to where we want to go.
Okay. Well, John, can you just kind of give those people who want to get into the rap industry, can you just give them some sound advice?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of different ways that people can enter into it. You know, some people have, I guess you could say, the good fortune of coming across people that are already connected. But if you're not, I would just say get your stuff together. I mean, practice makes perfect, of course. You know, and they have so many different applications and stuff out here now that you can pretty much craft your own stuff without even really stepping inside the studio. Now, the only time that you might really want to do that is when it comes to the mastering phase, you know, where you might take it to somebody to master it for you. But there's an array of different ways. I mean, with the way the media is, the social media, and everything that you have access to now, you know, it's a lot of cost-effective ways in which you can bring that about. You know, so for people that are novice or someone that's seriously considering taking it to the next level, the options are unlimited, if you ask me. And there's no singular approach to how to do it. You know, my thing is that you have to be invested in it. You know, I mean, it has to be a passion. It has to be a certain degree of love for it. You know, and basically tell your story. That's what I say.
Okay. Well, John, hey, we're going to wrap it up right now. And we're going to be doing another part to this interview. But I want to thank you so much for interviewing with Fuzionz Magazine, you know, just taking this time out. And it's been a pleasure interviewing with you.
And I'd like to thank you, Ms. Shanova Kinsey, for coming out to California, like I stated earlier, and bringing in the new year with us out here. We're, of course, in Long Beach, but, you know, we're located in Los Angeles, which is right down the road. And I look forward to doing some big and better things in 2014. And I would also like to take this time to thank you for interviewing in the Real Hapz magazine, doing your interview. And I'd like to thank everyone else who participated in this soul searching project, you know, which is not easy, you know, when it comes to putting your life on the line, per se, telling your story. And I would just like to thank everyone that stopped through the Real Hapz magazine over the years, especially since 2009 when I took it to Facebook, and we're doing it in the online version of it. And I'm very appreciative of you. And I've learned a lot, you know, just from listening to other people's stories and whatnot. And, it's been very enlightening, very insightful, and I'm very grateful, and I look forward to the years ahead, and hopefully we have expanded this brand beyond my imagination and those who come on board.
Okay.
So with that, you know, I want to thank you, Shanova, and Fuzionz Magazine. And until the next time, you have a nice and a prosperous one. Peace.
Peace.